Hey nerds, welcome back to Nerd Animation. Today we're talking about two important terms in the world of a CPAS, PGA and LGA. Whether you're building your first computer or just curious about how things work, this video will help you understand what these terms mean and why they matter. What is PGA? Pin Grid Array. GA stands for Pin Grid Array. It's a type of design used for connecting a CPU to a motherboard. Imagine the CPU is a little square chip with lots of tiny metal pins on its bottom side. These pins are arranged in a grid pattern, sort of like the bristles on a hairbrush, but much smaller. These pins fit into matching holes on the motherboard. When you place a CPU onto the motherboard, the pins slide into the holes, making the connection that allows your CPU to communicate with the rest of your computer. PGA is often used by AMD, a company that makes many popular CPAS. If you've ever heard of an AMD Ryzen processor, it likely used PGA. What is LGA? Land Grid Array. LGA stands for Land Grid Array. This design flips things around compared to PGA. In LGA, the pins aren't on the CPU, they're on the motherboard instead. The CPU has flat, shiny spots called pads. When you place the CPU onto the motherboard, the pins touch these pads, creating the connection. Think of it like pressing a stamp the CPU onto an ink pad, the motherboard. The stamp doesn't have ink itself, but when it touches the pad, it picks up the ink, just like how the CPU picks up signals from the motherboard. LGA is mainly used by Intel, another big name in the CPU world. Many Intel Core processors, like the Core are on LGA. Why do PGA and LGA matter? Now, why should you care about PGA and LGA? Well, understanding these designs can help you if you're ever building or upgrading a computer. PGA and LGA determine how the CPU connects to the motherboard. This is important because not all CPS work with all motherboards. If you're building a computer, you need to make sure your CPU and motherboard are compatible. Also, the design affects how easy it is to install the CPU. With PGA, you have to be careful not to bend the pins on the CPU. With LGA, the pins are on the motherboard, so you need to be careful not to damage them when placing the CPU. Some people prefer PGA because if a pin gets damaged, it's usually cheaper to replace the CPU than the entire motherboard. Others like LGA because the CPU itself is less likely to get damaged during installation. Which is better? There's no one right answer to whether PGA or LGA is better. It depends on what you need. AMD and Intel use different designs because they believe it's best for their processors. If you're building a PC and wondering which to choose, start by deciding which processor brand you want. AMD or Intel. From there, you'll naturally end up with either a PGA or LGA motherboard and CPU. Both designs work well and have been used in millions of computers around the world. The most important thing is to handle everything with care, follow the instructions, and make sure the CPU and motherboard match. Conclusion, and that's a quick look at PGA and LGA. These are just two ways that your CPU can connect to your computer, but knowing about them can make you more confident when working with your PC. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to Nerd Animation for more tech content, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.